It's The Lunch Show with Chad Summers. Fasten your seatbelts for the greatest radio show in the world, ever. And now, the host of The Lunch Show, Chad Summers.
All right, welcome back to The Lunch Show, everybody. My name's Chad Summers. I'll be your host this afternoon. Thank you for joining us for lunch. Beautiful Friday where I am on the East Coast. Hopefully it's beautiful where you are. It always helps mentally, right? Today's September 19th, 2025, also known as POW MIA Recognition Day. Now, these are not people that are necessarily deceased. You know, they can be out there held captive by foreign countries. So, yeah, if they are, I hope we can get those people back. Let's jump into the birthdays, shall we, folks? Jimmy Fallon, 51. Happy birthday, Jimmy Fallon. I don't really watch his show. I never have. I guess when David Letterman, or maybe Conan O'Brien was the last late night show that I watched. And then it all just went to pot. Got so political, and obviously that's a big story today with Kimmel. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It was just so. It just got where it wasn't even funny whatsoever. But anyway, that's our only birthday today. So yeah, it is what it is. Also on this day in history, 1796, George Washington's farewell address was published. And basically what he said in it was, let's not get intertwined with foreign entities, foreign countries, stay strong and independent is what his point was, what his message was. But yeah, pretty cool. Good dude. 1995, the Unabombers, not such a good dude. The Unabombers Manifesto was published in the New York Times and Washington Post, leading to his capture. I remember that clearly when they caught him. That was amazing and refreshing. 1994, ER debuted on NBC. Great. And in 1970, the first episode of the Mary Tyler Moore Show aired on TV. I believe that was a hit show. All right, let's jump into the meat of the show, the news. Here's one from TMZ. Police find Travis Decker's possible remains conducting DNA tests. Okay, so dude had tattoos all over him. So, I think it sounds like they know it's him, but they're just being technical by doing DNA. But I guess he was found in the woods south of Leavenworth, Washington. And he was the guy that was accused of suffocating his 3 daughters at a campground earlier this summer. So sad. It was just... And one guy made the comment that, actually the article says he led the police on a 3-month manhunt, but some guy was saying that it probably wasn't a 3-month manhunt. He probably self-deleted shortly after the killings, and they just finally caught him, or found him, excuse me. But yeah, I'm glad that he's no longer around. Do we need to pay? Do we really want to pay for his trials and housing and food? No, we don't. I kind of wish we could have deleted him ourselves, but yeah, that whole process takes way too long. And that's like this thing with Charlie Kirk's accused assassin. You know, we need an expressway to these processes. We know it was him, right? So we think it's him, right? He's the number one suspect, we'll just say. But yeah, once they determine that it was him, they need a speedy process. And they also have firing squads in Utah still. So we need to utilize that, right? Eye for an eye. Yeah, I believe so. Here's one from TMZ. Brad Pitt sells LA home to Austin Butler after break in. I guess earlier this summer, Brad Pitt's house got broken into and they just ransacked the place. He purchased the property for now. Austin Butler, he's kind of a new guy, relatively new. You know, he's hasn't been around nearly as long as Brad Pitt, obviously, but he was the one who played Elvis. I saw that. It was pretty good, actually, but paid 5.5 million for the property. I guess it's a popular house. They call it the metal house, but it looks really cool. I saw the interior pictures. It looks badass, actually. But Brad bought a different house in that area for 12 million, so he's still doing all right. Here's one from CNN. Study says chimps may ingest equivalent of one alcoholic drink a day from fermented fruit. That's right. So when you think, that little chimp is getting nutrition from his fruit, no, he's just getting his buzz on. That's right. Just like everybody else. Here's one from Fox. Trump could use organized crime law to dismantle Antifa radicals, expert says. And that law he's referring to is the RICO law. That's the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. That is the law that Giuliani took down the heads of the 5 families in New York City. Unbelievable. The Italian mafia, very successful. It was enacted in 1970, so that was critical in that operation. But ever since then, the mob just hasn't been the same. Here's one from Fox. Former Florida nurse caught having sex with teen stepson sentenced to 2 years in prison. I think that's fair. This is so bad. This is so absolutely bad. Here's a subheading. Alexis Von Yates was having sex with her then 15-year-old stepson when her husband walked in on them, court documents say. Now think of how much damage this has done, will you? Okay, so the guy walks in on this and instantly his life is just completely changed. He loses his wife, and then so she's gone, right? And then his son, he's got this son. Like, what's that relationship going to be like? Is it just going to be normal? I don't think so. The son's to blame also, right? I mean, when I was 15, I would, not that anything occurred to me like that, but it was just something that I would have known there was no way, it would be something I would do. Good Lord. So that 15-year-old is a dumbass also, along with the probably soon to be ex-wife. But yeah, that's disturbing right there. I guess she'll be on 2 years of probation and like 10 years sexual predator list type thing. So people are freaking animals, aren't they? Okay, folks, that leaves us with one story left, and it's good. It always is at the end of our episodes. But before we get to that, I just wanted to say email me at chat@thelunchshow if you have any questions or comments. Speaking of comments, leave comments in the comments section on YouTube or wherever you listen to the show. and click thumbs up, do all those do anything that can help the show. If you like the show, if you don't like it, don't do anything negative, just don't listen, right? But here we go from Good News Network. As usual, they're pretty good stuff. Depression patients treated with psychedelic mushrooms 5 years ago are still symptom free. That is incredible. I had a girlfriend a few years ago that was bipolar, and she talked about microdosing shrooms. And at the time, I'm kind of like, that kind of sounds dangerous. I don't. Selfishly, I was like, I don't want you to do that. And I tell you, after seeing her like suffer from the depression and stuff, I'm all about this. And so this kind of hits home. That depression is debilitating, and it causes a lot of self-deletion in people. So yeah, read this article. If you have depression, it might be something, that you could support and get in on somehow. But I guess the chemical compound that makes you, I guess, trip or whatever, or that causes the psychedelic features is psilocybin. That's really what if maybe they could mimic that and just make a medication with it, I think that would be what what they would shoot for if they're trying to do this widespread to treat people rather than like give them a bag of shrooms. But yeah, that's good news. I mean, good Lord. All right, folks. Hope you have a great weekend. Don't be out there drinking and driving like idiots. It's not worth it at all. At all. You end up in the big house feeling depressed, and, hoping you could get some shrooms or something. But yeah, until the next episode, keep pressing on in your life. Peace out.
All right, folks, that's it for the lunch show today. Don't forget to come back every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. And don't forget to like, share, tweet, subscribe, friend, listen, email, and tell your friends and family about us. We need every single one of y'all. Thank you in advance for your support, and I hope you all have an awesome day.
You just listened to The Lunch Show.